Alright, after that unceremonious stop, we are back on track. I did a little bit of work off camera. I expanded out the area to build, lay down some roads, some potential roads, train line that will bring oil in eventually, oil storage that will eventually be built. Lots of stuff that is planned for the future that is not necessarily going to be done right away, like this train line here. But I want it in the plan for the infrastructure right from the hop so that I'm not trying to cram it in later. This is an unfortunate thing. You're going to have to play this game a couple of times before you know what's going to be needed and what works and what doesn't work. And as time progresses and you rebuild your settlements time and time again, you eventually become a little bit more elegant about it. That's where you get details like the raised oil pipes so that you can run roads underneath it later on if need be, or a train line and a road underneath an oil line. It can be rather finicky. The game does its best. It actually does a really good job. I'm quite impressed with it, but it's still rough edges every now and then to catch your fingers on. So we are going to work on a residential section to provide workers to work in this plant here. We're going to try to build it a bit. How much asphalt? You know what? We're gonna let the foreigners build it. Why would I build it myself when I can get the foreigners to do it? So, with this is already... Oops, that was not what I intended. Alright, well, the oil pipes have all been purchased now. It's another good reason not to leave that ticked on. I changed menus and it completed the build on a bunch of things. But now I'm going to go and do that for the roads because buying roads is way easier than building them this early on. This game has inflation. Why would you want to play a game with inflation? I don't know. But as time progresses, things become more expensive. Importing things from outside becomes quite a bit more expensive pretty quickly. So you're going to want to establish supplies of your own base materials as quickly as possible in this game. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to buy an oil refinery with some American dollars and then flush out the infrastructure with rubles. Alright. No workers. Needs power supply. Oh yes, power. Lovely, lovely power. We're just going to import it. Some people like to start the game by building a power plant and then selling the power to pay for everything. I find that strategy to be very boring and slow. Selling oil is honestly not that much better, but it's got good dividends, and so it will allow you to do other things, which is more important. We're out of dollary dues, aren't we? Oh no, we've got a bit left. Alright. Let's look over here. Alright, let's finish the train. Most important is to finish the things that will make you money. So there we have it. We're out of American money. It's the Warsaw Pact from here on out. Doing business with European Mexico is easily the best option. There are not enough American vehicles to make it worth even attempting. I'll do it up here. installing some power infrastructure. It's a very interesting take on power. I've never seen a video game be so finicky with it. But let's import it to run the... We'll import power to run the refinery. So now we've got 2 train lines. We will buy a rail yard. Put it fairly far out. And just... The game can be a little persnickety when it comes to finding the tightest angles. Oh, come on. Angle is too sharp. Angle is too sharp. There we go. There we are. Clean up this tail. Chain signal? That seems right. Chain signal, chain signal, chain signal. Bonk. And bonk. Bonk. That should be enough for the trains. Are we paused? We are not paused. Pay for this. And the train track. We are. Now, we've paid for the fast train lines. Might as well get a fast train. We'll buy additional cargo for it later on, but for now I'm just going to do 3 because it's the overall production early on is not going to be that much. We're going to assign it to go pick up and drop off and to start. I'm going to buy another one. Because why buy one when you can buy 2 for twice the price? Oh wait, is this paused? You have chosen poorly. Ooh. Turn around, go back to your home. So you need to make sure that your trains are set to wait at the station until they're filled with fuel to sell. Otherwise, they will just run back and forth empty, burning petroleum. Oh, I didn't put in a refill station. I guess I have to do that. Alright. I'll send both of these suckers home. Good brakes on these things. So we're just going to pull back. I don't like building infrastructure that I will have to remove at some point, but starting off with this amount of money, you kind of need to just do what's going to work for now. And then move on. And you can come back and rebuild it later. I'm going to build a small town that I'm going to end up moving. Just because it's way too much infrastructure bullshit to deal with otherwise. Okie dokie. So, need that there. because they like to get stuck, it seems. Well... what is going on? Punk. It should be going this way. It's not going that way. Oh, and this thing isn't doing anything because there's no electricity to run the pump to fill it. So this is the thing. This train is stuck at this station, waiting to be filled with this fuel that I've imported, but because there's no power supply, the pumps won't run. So we have to go get a substation. Oh, the substation is in range. That's handy. It's already built. We just need to start importing some power. That should turn it on. This guy fills up. Very nice. Get out of the way. Is this thing... where are you going to go? Oh. Controlling the trains can be a little persnickety. Why won't you go? Here, go back home. Yes, turn. What an exciting video game this is. Unreachable from first position. Interesting. What's not hooked up on this line? I'm confused. Well, here, the train's already on that line. Let's resort to drastic measures. Take that out. Now, how do you like it? Okay. Oh, it's because this is done backwards now. There you go. I'll start. That was an expensive mistake. Coming out. Why is that still unreachable? Oh, man. No, that's not where I'm going. That's where I'm going. First stop unreachable. You don't say. Well, let's remove all this baloney and see if you can do it now. Still can't reach it. Where? What? What? For fuck's sakes. So it was bugged out, something to do with its connection to here. Now it's doing it. Hurrah. Finally. Alright, so there we go. We've got the trains set up to export oil. We have the refinery to manufacture. Now we need some citizenry. We're just going to pay for this first one. May end up just paying for all of it. I haven't quite decided yet. We've got this on the difficult education mode. So I want the expanded kinder... That's probably too big. How many kids is that? Huh. Doesn't say. I will... Kindergartens are important in this game. If you don't have a kindergarten, one of the parents will stay at home and not work. If you do have a kindergarten, they will take the child there, drop them off, and then go to work. This is a gymnasium. It's a mod, and I think it's the best of the possible outdoor activities. Your people need to go out and exercise. And if they don't exercise, they get unhappy. So this gymnasium is the best place I've found to satisfy that need. These are little paths. Your peoples will walk on them to get to and fro, from home to grocery store to work. They will walk to work, because they're not going to be allowed to have any cars. So let's pay for these paths. Let's pay for this road, and this road, and this road. I could invest in construction equipment and have my people build it, but I'm just going to invest everything in these fellows. Exporting oil. And then worry about setting up a construction area afterwards. Inflation's really low at the beginning of the game, so it's not that big of a deal. Where is... These apartment buildings are not in the base game. They are mods that were made by the developer. So I don't feel too bad about using them. Some of the mods out there are clearly broken. As all mods are, I suppose. I want to make it as easy as possible for these guys to walk to work. I believe their shift starts the moment they leave their home, and if they haven't made it to work in 4 hours, they give up. That includes any time spent on buses or trains. So, I will not be running a train through this community. The only train line is going to be down here. This community will be bulldozed at some point, but for now, it'll start as the base population for the oil refinery. Yes, there we are. There we are. Nice to see the lights are on from all our imported power. Second building. So we're playing on hard mode, so we need to purchase our foreigners. I've spent all my dollary dues, so I can only buy them with rubles. Importing people is expensive. If you build a very large high-rise and you have automatic import of people turned on, here I'll show you this option. So we go to buildings, to the housing. You can build with rubles and then get citizens. You can automatically fill them up as much as you want. So if I have this ticked as it is, when I build a new home, it'll automatically recruit people to fill it. I do not suggest you do this. It is quite often multiple times the cost of the building to get people in. So I like to do it manually, especially early on in the game. Later on in the game, when you're rich from oil money, it doesn't matter as much. But for now, no school, eh? That makes sense. I didn't build the school, just a kindergarten. So we got a gymnasium. Oh wait, I'm just gonna pause. And grocery store. They get upset if they don't have a place to go buy bread, meat, radios, and pants. So these two buildings here are going to satiate those needs. This building here is a theater. It's very large and clunky. This building here is where they're going to go to get drunk. It's kind of strange. If you're doing a good job, they don't drink very much, but they still like to have a place to go get drunk if they need to. So, you can see stats on how dependent they are on alcohol. What am I missing here? Education. School. I want the bigger school, the mod school. This school I don't need it that big. That's overkill. We'll just go for the regular school that the game comes with. I'll keep an eye on it, though. It's easy to get a backlog of students, and if you get a backlog of students, it causes all kinds of other problems that ripple through your economy. If you've got like 400 kids waiting to get an education, then they don't get to work in a factory when they mature. It's very sad. Gotta go to school to be a good manufacturing pawn. There's ore to dig. Alright. Attaching some of the roads to the infrastructure to make it as easy as possible for these guys to walk around to where they need. More roads are better than fewer roads. Or pathways. Here we are. Just gonna stick to the same motif for living quarters. These big ugly brick buildings. I wish... I know it's Soviet Russia, or whatever, but I do wish there was a little bit more variety in some of the housing blocks. It doesn't need to all be concrete brutalism. Or maybe it does, I don't know. Who am I to say? I would like to see more alternate Soviet history stuff, or like Soviet sci-fi incorporated into the game. Because, let's face it, it's kind of drab. Alright, let's build some more buildings. It's a grocery store. Can build, pave, pin for a way to walk in. You can see the first of the ants. Oh, there's a wave of them. All the ants are going to pick up their imported jeans and radios, and their meat and bread. Alright, but I'm going to turn up. So, okay, let's just do a quick explainer on some of this. At the moment, these guys are being supplied from foreign sources. It's part of the reason why I'm built so close to the border, because you get charged by the ton and by the kilometer for delivery. So you want these guys pretty close to where they're getting it from, because we're importing tons of alcohol, even though there's only a couple of people drinking it. But you don't want to run out of anything. So we're going to go into the menu, where we can adjust how much of stuff we purchase, and then approve the automatic stocking of this little grocery store to have a ton of meat on hand and 3.5 tons of bread, so that we don't run out. Because these pesky little guys, they're not super happy about running out of bread. This is an interesting thing. So, even without a construction, or is this construction office? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, because I've got a construction office, these little unemployed people who didn't get a job working at the school or the gymnasium are all wandering along the path into the unbuilt theater and going to work on it. At the moment, there are 20 or so, 19 of them working on it. They do not have any concrete or gravel, which is required in order to complete this stage of its construction. But them being there and going to work on it a bit, I believe, it's making it a little bit cheaper. Or maybe it's not, because there's no concrete and gravel. I think that might be true. I think they need gravel in order to do any progress. So we're just going to pay for the Russians to come across the border and build everything instantly. The one nice thing about just paying rubles for construction is it's instant build. Building things yourself takes a considerable amount of time, even if you have all of the supplies on hand. Alright, I think that's all of it. We've got some nice roads going around. We've got our 3 tenements. 2 of them are full. Looks like some people have moved out of one and into the other already, which is strange. Ooh. And people have already started to work at the oil refinery. How silly of me. So we're going to start importing oil. 100 tons approved. to be brought in, and it will be turned into fuel and bitumen. What? That's gonna burn down. That was expensive. I didn't see it. The notice popped up in the bottom corner, but my mic stands kind of in the way, and it blocks out the corner a bit. Didn't see this. Building's burning down. Haven't built a firehouse yet. There's a road, so let's see how quickly my population can respond to a fire. So I'm going to build this mod firehouse. It's very tiny. It only has room for a single fire engine. But a single fire engine is all you need, because fire in this game isn't really a threat. So let's build the path that the populace will have to walk down to get to the fire truck, to get into the fire truck, to drive the fire truck to the burning fuel storage container. Let's set this one. Good. Alright, so we're paying to get it built, so it gets built quickly. Got built. We're going to import a vehicle. Level 12, 10. Well, this funky looking mod fire truck that I download, it's got room for 12 people on it. So we're going to do that. But here, let's import some workers. We have to import some people into this building anyway, so we might as well do it right as soon as this fire building is built. So hopefully 12 of them will walk over here, get a job this way. Yes, there goes 3, 2 of them. There's a bunch more. All right, they're on their way. Little fire truck. Go, 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 go. How? Oh. Will they get to it before? Yeah, they got it. Fire isn't really a threat in this game. So long as the fire brigade can get to the building, they'll put it out. And it doesn't even damage the building. They will put it out, and it is back to being fine. So, no, wait. Let's pause. So this is a rather annoying thing. I have this tank set up to hold fuel, but even though I have it to hold fuel, some of the fuel started coming into this, so I now have to dump out the fuel that's into it and then change the storage to bitumen, so the bitumen comes into here and the fuel goes into here, and then later on I can build a bitumen power plant over here and burn it for electricity instead of importing it. But we're a little ways away from that. For now, we've got this up. We've got 35 employees at the oil refinery getting started on filling these tanker trains with oil to export to our red brothers. So we're going to stop here for a second, and I'll see you next time.